A blonde hurried into the emergency room late one night with her index finger shot off. "How did this happen?" the emergency room doctor asked her. "Well, I was trying to commit suicide," the blonde replied. "What?" sputtered the doctor. "You tried to commit suicide by shooting off your finger?" "No, silly," the blonde said. "First, I put the gun to my chest. And then I thought, I just paid $6,000 for these implants. I'm not shooting myself in the chest." "So then?" asked the doctor. "Then I put the gun in my mouth. And I thought, I just paid $3,000 to get my teeth straightened. I'm not shooting myself in the mouth." "So then?" asked the doctor. "Then I put the gun to my ear. And I thought, this is going to make a loud noise. So I put my finger in my other ear before I pulled the trigger." A blonde walks into a bank in New York City and asks for the loan officer. She says she's going to Europe on business for 2 weeks and needs to borrow $5,000. The bank officer says the bank will need some kind of security for the loan. So the blonde hands over the keys to a new Rolls Royce. The car is parked on the street in front of the bank. She has the title and everything checks out. The bank agrees to accept the car as collateral for the loan. The bank's president and its officers all enjoy a good laugh at the blonde for using a $250,000 Rolls as collateral against a $5,000 loan. An employee of the bank then drives the Rolls into the bank's underground garage and parks it there. 2 weeks later, the blonde returns and repays the $5,000 and the interest, which comes to $15.41. The loan officer says, "Miss, we are very happy to have had your business, and this transaction has worked out very nicely. But we're a little puzzled. We checked you out and found that you are a multi-millionaire. What puzzles us is, why would you bother to borrow $5,000? The blonde replies. "Where else in New York City can I park my car for 2 weeks for only $15.41 and expect it to be there when I return?"
A blonde woman was speeding down the road in her little red sports car and was pulled over by a woman police officer who was also a blonde. The blonde cop asked to see the blonde driver's license. She dug through her purse and was getting progressively more agitated. "What does it look like?" she finally asked. The policewoman replied, "It's square, and it has your picture on it." The driver finally found a square mirror in her purse, looked at it, and handed it to the policewoman. "Here it is," she said. The blonde officer looked at the mirror, then handed it back, saying, "Okay, you can go. I didn't realize you were a cop."
A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead are on an elevator when a good-looking man gets on. He gets off at the next floor. Having noticed his dandruff, the redhead says to the brunette, he could use some head and shoulders. Looking confused, the blonde asks, "How do you give a guy shoulders?"
Two blondes are stuck in a burning apartment on the 30th floor on the balcony. They're both screaming for help, one after another, to no avail. Then one of the blondes says, "I don't think anyone can hear us. Maybe if we scream together, we'll be louder and we'll get saved." They both start yelling, "Together! Together! Together!"
A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead all walk into a bar. As they sit at the bar, the bartender says, "Give me a clue about what you want to drink, and if I can't guess what it is, it's free." The brunette goes first and says, "TC," to which the bartender says, "That's easy, a Tom Collins," and she pays for a drink. The redhead goes next and says, "LIIT." The bartender thinks for a moment and says, "A Long Island iced tea," and she pays for a drink. The blonde then says, 15. The bartender ponders and thinks and then says, "I give up. What is it?" To which the blonde replies,
Duh! It's a 7 and 7.